The letter wasn't supposed to be read by anyone else. It was written in uneven crayon letters, folded twice, and slipped into a red mailbox on a freezing December evening. Yet 3 days later, it lay open on the polished desk of a billionaire who had everything, except someone waiting for him at home. Ethan Cross stared at the page longer than he had stared at any contract in his life. Dear Santa, it read, I don't need toys. I just want a dad. Someone who comes to school meetings and doesn't leave. The letter was signed by Lily, age 7. Ethan had grown up in boardrooms and silence, raised by nannies who changed with the seasons. He told himself loneliness was the price of success. But that night, the words on the page pressed against something he had kept locked away for decades. Curious and unsettled, Ethan traced the letter through a charity mail program his company sponsored. That's how he found Lily and her mother, Emma, living in a small apartment above a bakery. Lily wasn't asking for pity. She was asking for presents. Ethan didn't arrive with cameras or checks. He came with groceries. Then homework help. Then Saturdays at the park. Lily didn't call him Dad. She didn't need to. She just smiled wider when he showed up. The twist came quietly. Lily's mother confessed she'd written dozens of letters to charities before, but only Santa answered. Ethan realized the letter hadn't found him by accident. It had found him because he was finally ready to listen. On Christmas Eve, Ethan handed Lily a small box. Inside was the original letter, framed. Santa asked me to help, he said softly. That night, in a warm apartment filled with laughter, a lonely billionaire discovered something priceless. Sometimes, kindness doesn't change the world, it gives someone a family. After Christmas, Ethan tried to convince himself that his role in Lily's life was complete. He returned to his glass tower office, back-to-back meetings, and silent dinners overlooking the city. Yet something felt wrong. The penthouse felt colder than ever. Every Wednesday at exactly 4:15 p.m., Ethan's phone buzzed with a photo. Lily holding up a spelling test. Lily feeding pigeons outside the bakery. Lily wearing a paper crown at school. He never asked Emma to send them. She never asked him to come. Still, he found himself showing up. One afternoon, Lily tugged his coat sleeve at the park. You don't have to come if you're busy, she said carefully, as if adults always disappeared eventually. The words hit Ethan harder than any loss he had known. I'm not busy, he replied, kneeling to her level. I choose to be here. That was the moment he realized this wasn't charity anymore. Trouble arrived unexpectedly. Lily's school called Emma. Tuition assistance had been cut, and she might have to transfer Lily mid-year. Emma cried quietly that night, thinking Lily was asleep. Ethan heard everything from the hallway. The billionaire in him knew the solution was easy. A single phone call could fix it. But the man learning to be human hesitated. He didn't want to be a savior. He wanted to be someone Lily could depend on. The next morning, Ethan attended Lily's school meeting, not as a donor, but as family. He spoke calmly, honestly, and firmly. Stability matters more than money, he said. And she has it. On the walk home, Lily slipped her hand into his. Santa really did listen, she whispered. Ethan smiled, realizing something profound. The little girl who asked for a dad was slowly teaching a grown man how to become one. Winter had fully arrived, coating the city in frost and sparkling lights. Ethan's routine was no longer just boardrooms and strategy sessions. It included bedtime stories, scraped knees, and long walks holding Lily's tiny hand. Yet, he still struggled with the quiet doubt that maybe he wasn't the right person for this role. One evening, as snowflakes drifted down, Lily asked him to help decorate her mother's apartment. She handed him a crooked ornament and giggled. Daddy, no, make it straight, she said, looking up with wide, expectant eyes. Ethan froze. Daddy? He repeated, feeling the weight of the word. Yes, Lily insisted. You're my dad now. Emma, in the kitchen, smiled softly, pretending not to notice the tears in Ethan's eyes. The word wasn't a demand. It was trust. It was hope. Days turned into weeks. Ethan learned that being present meant more than showing up. It meant listening to Lily's fears about school, helping her build a science project, and staying when the world outside called him elsewhere. Slowly, his heart, which had once guarded itself with walls taller than his skyscrapers, softened. Then came the twist he didn't see coming. Ethan's business partner called with a lucrative deal that would require him to relocate abroad. The old Ethan would have gone without hesitation. But now he paused. Looking at Lily asleep on the couch, a blanket tucked around her, he realized that some investments were far more valuable than money. That night, he sent an email declining the deal. He didn't need another empire. He needed this small, fragile life, the life he had been asked to protect, nurture, and love. As he turned off the lights, Ethan whispered into the quiet apartment. Some letters to Santa aren't just wishes. They're invitations, and I accepted. Spring approached, but life wasn't always easy. One morning, Lily came home from school crying. Her best friend had moved away, and she felt abandoned again. Ethan's heart clenched. He had promised to be there, yet even he couldn't fix everything. He knelt beside her on the couch, holding her small shoulders. I know it hurts, he said softly. But I'm not going anywhere, Lily. Not now, not ever. Her tearful eyes searched his face. But dads sometimes leave, she whispered. Ethan remembered his own childhood, the emptiness that came from adults walking away. He took a deep breath. Then I'll be the dad who stays, he said firmly. Later that week, Emma confided her own fears. Running a small bakery, struggling to make ends meet, she worried Ethan's involvement would complicate things. Ethan listened carefully, not with the voice of a billionaire, but as someone who had learned patience and humility. He offered solutions without taking over, decisions without demands, showing Emma that kindness could coexist with respect. Then came the ultimate test. Lily's school announced a father-daughter day. She hesitated, unsure if Ethan would show, fearing rejection. Ethan arrived early, holding a single daffodil, and knelt to her level. For my favorite little girl, he said, smiling. That simple act ignited cheers and tears alike. Lily hugged him tightly, no words needed. In that moment, the walls around Ethan's heart crumbled completely. The billionaire who had once believed success meant solitude realized that love, patient, steady, and selfless, was the true measure of wealth. Driving home that evening, watching Lily doze in the passenger seat, Ethan thought of her letter to Santa. One small wish had rewritten both their lives. Sometimes, he realized, miracles came not from magic, but from hearts brave enough to answer a call. Summer arrived, painting the city in golden sunlight, and with it came a sense of completion neither Ethan nor Lily had expected. Their lives, once separate and lonely, had intertwined in ways that felt both miraculous and ordinary, the best kind of magic. One evening, Lily ran into Ethan's office holding a crumpled piece of paper. I wrote a new letter to Santa, she said, eyes wide. But this time, I think he already answered. Ethan knelt beside her, taking the letter gently. It read, Dear Santa, thank you for sending me a dad. Can you also make my mommy happy? Emma appeared behind Lily, smiling through tears. You already have, she whispered to Ethan, whose eyes glistened. It wasn't just the letter. It was the trust, the laughter, the quiet moments of shared life that had slowly transformed their small apartment into a home. Ethan had discovered the real meaning of giving, not gifts or money, but presence, consistency, and love. The twist that life had saved for last was simple, yet profound. The little girl who asked for a dad had taught a lonely billionaire how to be human again. And in return, she received something no Santa, no magic, and no fortune could ever replace: a family. On Christmas morning the following year, Ethan handed Lily a small, wrapped frame. Inside was her first letter, the one that had changed everything. She read it, smiled, and hugged him tightly. Santa really did send me a dad, she whispered. Ethan smiled down at her, feeling a warmth he had never known in any boardroom or bank account. No, he replied softly. Santa just asked me to listen. I'm the one who came. And in that moment, In the laughter and love of their little home, everyone understood, sometimes, a single act of kindness can rewrite a life, and create a story that lasts forever.